Believe me, you do not want to miss this conversation because we had a grand old time.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
And one of the things we talked about is the Traitors, the new season 4 of the Traitors.
Let the games begin.
And what the group chat kind of agreed on is that, you know what? The thing that makes that show work is that we're all too smart. We would immediately go, we know exactly who the traitor is. That's, of course, why people keep watching that show. But before we get to that conversation, we started by talking about The Bone Temple, which is like this brand new sequel to 28 Years Later. I love this conversation. Get into it. Jackson Weaver is here. Marlon Palmer is here. Roxana Hadadi's here. What's up, y'all? How's it going?
Oh, so good.
How you doing?
So
nice
good.
to have you here. This is a delight. Okay, before we get into it, I think it's useful to just kind of establish a base of what we're talking about. So let's kick things off with this.
When the infected attack, what do they see? I believe the infection can be treated. And now, a leap into the unknown.
Okay, Roxana got to explain to people that first you had 28 Days Later, and that's a movie. And after that, they were like, we should make another sequel to this. And they made 28 Weeks Later. And then they didn't make anything for 20 years, which is an incredibly long time. And then we got 28 Years Later. That was last summer. And now that one has a sequel. That's a lot of movies to keep track of, but let's just get to this new installment. Where does 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, where does that pick up?
It picks up, I would say, nearly immediately where 28 Years Later ends. So 28 Years Later, it introduces us to this like island community. It's really like a coming of age story for this 12-year-old boy named Spike. I'm sorry to my Aaron Taylor Johnson girlies, and by girlies I mean me, that he is not in this movie, but we follow Spike. So at the end of 28 Years Later, there was this villain introduction played by Jack O'Connell, this guy named Jimmy. He is like a Satanist cult leader. He has this army of children that he calls the Fingers. And Spike has unfortunately crossed paths with and now become one of them. So we're picking up on like his internal struggle of what is it to be human in this like post-apocalyptic zombie world.
None of that sounds like it feels good to watch. However, also
it's hard.
I enjoy the Jack McConnell of it all. I'm sorry that we don't have Aaron Taylor Johnson. So that's two of us. Two of us are sad about this. Jackson, this is a movie that's directed by Nia DaCosta, this new sequel. She's also coming off, by the way, directing Hedda, which has had a lot of critical acclaim. Tessa Thompson is in some sort of award conversation. How do you feel about Nia DaCosta's vision for this Bone Temple movie?
I think with the shows, I mean, I don't know if this is surprising to anyone but me, really, and it shouldn't even be surprising to me, but just how much a director can change a script. Because these are both filmed one right after the other, both written by Alex Garland, both like having the same sort of idea behind them. But the direction and the thematic examination and the way things are framed and told, I don't think could have been any more different. And I love Nia DaCosta so much. I am a Hedda girly. We're talking about the girlies in the room. It did not get enough acclaim. It did not get enough attention for how off the wall, strange, interesting as an adaptation it was. Yeah. And The Bone Temple, I think it's so daring and weird and interesting to, one, take your main character, as we just mentioned, Spike, in the first movie, making it a coming of age movie where it, one, directly follows him, two, is about his, self-acceptance, becoming a confident person. This movie completely undoes that. He's like this trembling little waif who's just like doing a come and see impression of looking at horrors and shrinking back from them. And then it's just not the main character anymore. But what this movie does more, I think, in my interpretation, it examines how like the world is ending and can end and how people can take advantage of that and how so many times violence is done through, the manipulation, exploitation of, religion or government or some sort of cult of belief that says I'm important, everyone else isn't, I have to save them. So many interesting things, so well told, so well done, so unsettling and strangely hopeful in the end. And Nia DaCosta, huge fan, Hedda girly, probably Bone Temple girly now as well.
I'll join you in being like sort of just a generally Nia DaCosta girly because I think like there's very few directors who can kind of make you confront the emotion in the room as much as Nia DaCosta can. And Marlon, you would know all of this if you're able to go see this film, The Bone Temple, but a dog ate your homework. That's not quite true. What happened on the way to the theater for you?
Mother Nature ate my car.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Yeah, the snow and the way my house is set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't getting out. So I spent 2 hours trying to dig myself out. It was well past the movie time. I said,
no.
I'm gonna just call it a night. But I did watch 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later for the first time.
Okay.
On my IPTV. Shout out to illegal television. My 28 Years Later said Bone Temple on the front, as illegal TV does. Always
Yeah,
listening.
I do
just gave you the
sometimes.
wrong.
So, and I didn't know, so I'm watching. I'm like, I'm locked in. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just to learn it was the movie that came out last year. So
Yeah.
Okay.
it was good. I will say that I think I was a little too late on the train. I've seen so many different zombie iterations since that have done what they did better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it was kind of underwhelming to me at a lot of parts. I'm also admittedly not a zombie guy. I fell off of Walking Dead. I can't do run, refuge, run. Oh, colony, run. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. So it just seems like I've seen it before, if that makes sense.
As per, The Walking Dead continuously asks the questions, who really is the danger? You know, and
Right.
and there is probably a limit eventually to how many times you can ask that question, which is why many people fell off The Walking Dead. But the thing about this that makes it work for me is like they made me wait. You know, they made me wait.
I'll say
and
what
also
I do like.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll say what I do like.
Yeah.
Naked zombies.
You get
I'm
more
just
in the
saying,
Bone Temple.
Not for the nudity, not for the nudity itself, but for the realism. Every time we see these zombies, they're always clothed, straight hair, look like just got a perm. It doesn't make any sense.
Not this.
And
not
so
this time.
I like that there was pregnant zombies. That made a lot of sense to me. And I love that the kid had a heart. You know what I mean? In a lot of these zombie movies or TV shows, it seems like regular humans that have live regular lives all of a sudden turn into these ruthless serial killers. And there's no real showing of that progression. And I feel like they did a really good job of showing how he became a person that had to kill instead of someone that chose to kill. Because everybody else kind of seemed to be having fun with it. Whereas he was like, no, I'm going to do this if I need to. And I like that.
Now, we're all just going to let Marlon get away with these zombies have perms, right? Like that's the thing we're going to
slide.
We're just going to They just came from the salon and they look great. But okay, Roxana, it is worth mentioning, right? Like 28 years later, the movie that came out last summer is now the highest grossing installment in this franchise. And then this sequel comes out. It seems to be pretty widely well reviewed. Have they, like, does the sequel work for you? Have they successfully sort of pulled off a reboot, a reinvigoration of this franchise?
I guess I might be slightly blasphemous here in saying that I maybe prefer the first 28 Years Later to Bone Temple, if only because I think Danny Boyle's direction and his mixed media approach is so unsettling. And I love how it's edited. I love that it is pulling from like British history to talk about like we've always, to your point, Elamin, we've always been the monsters, right? Like I think that was really well done with the visual style of 28 Years Later. I love Bone Temple thematically, and I think people will sort of latch on to this idea, especially in this time. What are we letting leaders of cults of personality get away with? I think that's the real question.
Yes.
And I also think for people who liked Sinners and liked Jack O'Connell as Remick in Sinners, I think he is really excellent here as this guy, Jimmy, who believes he is the son of Satan and who is just doing just a really over-the-top, chewing the scenery, wonderfully malevolent performance.
I think we've talked about Jack O'Connell.
That was Remick, right? So that was Remick at the end
Remick.
of.
Yes.
So he's the blonde Power Ranger. Okay, so
Correct.
who are those blonde Power Rangers at the end of the 28 Years
They're
Later?
like his children, like his
That's the
cults
cult?
of children. That's the cult.
I think Marlon might be
Yes.
getting more and more sold under the Bone Temple.
I think
literally
Marlon is
as
liking Bone
Listen,
Temple.
I like the blonde Power Rangers. I like that. That was a nice.
Well, you
touch
get a
at the
whole
end.
movie about them, Marlon. Congratulations!
Okay.
Like that's in
That's the
theaters
sequel.
literally right
Right
now.
now.
You got me.
I like this landing point of Marlon being like, "All right, I'm sold. All right, you sold me into this." To that point, Jackson, do you sort of see this movie and go, I think zombies might actually kind of be a low-key back?
Well, I mean, I think that one thing that we do see in these kind of genre spaces is they exist because they like have some sort of communication about the human experience. Like the age of piracy lasted like 80 years. We've had more movies over more than 80 years now about pirates.
But pirates are cool.
They're very cool.
They were cool.
The Wild West lasted 30 years in real life, and we have like 100 years of Western movies. Canada as the end of the Underground Railroad, that period of history was like 25 years or something, yet we have all these movies about it. They exist because they're used as metaphors for something about the human experience. Zombies, more often than not, as was said before, is, you know, what happens when you lose your own humanity? Who are the real Walking Dead? As The Walking Dead says, we're the real Walking Dead because you've killed who you are as a person. And I do think as the world, in our opinion, from our vantage point, maybe falls apart, these post-apocalyptic movies can work to really allow us to interpret how can we still maintain our humanity? Why should we still maintain our humanity? And like who succeeds in the rubble and the wreckage? I do really prefer this movie. I do think that the first 28 years later was more daring, inventive, and maybe strange, but I think this one works more efficiently and directly as a movie, as a narrative, and its idea of, you know, we can subvert and pervert these ostensibly good institutions for evil ends is a more insightful point than just saying we're the real monsters once again. So I maybe they could bring zombie movies back, but I will also agree with Marlon. I've seen Cold Bodies. There are zombies with perms. I really do believe this. No, sorry, Warm Bodies. Warm Bodies is the movie.
Bodies.
Not Cold Bodies.
When I leave the studio, I will be going to Marlon's house to help just dig out the car from behind the snow so we can go see this movie together. Okay, you can catch 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple in theaters right now. We're going to switch gears because there's a brand new season of a reality show that a lot of people are talking about.
A twisted new season of The Traitors is finally here.
Show me the money.
The prize, $250,000.
I'm gonna lie and cheat and do whatever I have to do to win.
All trust must be thrown to the wayside.
Let the games begin.
Alan Cumming just has like the greatest voice and greatest accent and greatest facial expressions. That is the trailer for season 4 of the U.S. edition of The Traitors. Jackson, just quickly, what's The Traitors all about?
If you ever played like Wink Murder or Mafia or Among Us, it's just that. You're in this mansion and you are all ostensibly on the same team, and your idea is just to survive in the mansion forever long, but they get secret traitors.
Somebody gets appointed as a traitor.
Somebody gets appointed as a traitor, and nobody knows other than the traitors who they are, and every night they get to murder somebody, and then every day after that, the rest of the people with the traitors involved all vote on who they think the traitor actually is. If all the traitors get eliminated, then the people, the faithful, they're called, still in the house, end up getting this big pile of money. But even one traitor is left by the end, then the traitors get to win that money. And they always have, you know, famous people in it. This season, the American one has all these stars. There's Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir, these figure skaters, Michael Rappaport, the actor, and Donna Kelsey, Travis Kelsey's mom.
Lisa Rinna, man, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of reality TV people who I don't necessarily know because I don't watch it, but a ton of famous ones.
Yeah, the way that you're like, and there are many housewives, but I don't know from what season.
I don't know any of them.
I saw that expression on your face when I said Lisa Rinna. Roxana, you watched every season of the U.S. edition of The Traitors. What do you think it is about this show that makes it a hit for people?
I think it's that the faithfuls are really bad at like decision making.
So bad.
I think a lot of it is just sort of like the train wreck quality of watching people trying to like reach consensus and failing. I also will say, in my sicko mode of watching it, I'm like, this is why American juries fail, because like
100%,
people are not
100%.
operating on evidence. They're just operating on vibes consistently.
That's not sicko mode. That's analysis. That's what that is.
Accuracy mode.
Yes. So I think it's very voyeuristic to watch these people. I also think, you know, like the first American season had like normies, like regular people and reality stars. And then in the season since, it's only been reality reality stars, which I think is a more smart way because you're playing with audience perception, right? Like we know who Lisa Rinna is in her life, and
not Jackson, but I take your point. Yeah.
yeah. And so we're sort of seeing like, oh, she's playing off her own persona. There are varying levels of performance. I think all of that is what makes people interested.
One of the delightful things about watching this season is that they all seem to have an idea of what the show is like. And so they're coming in being like, here's my preloaded idea of how to solve this game. And I think the person in this sort of season who's been kind of a delight to watch and also just a complete havoc is Michael Rappaport, the comedian. Because Michael Rappaport in general is like this like super abrasive, loud dude, just like in his comedy. And then he's kind of bringing a certain kind of energy to the show. Let's just play a little bit of Michael Rappaport on this season of The Traitors.
Michael, if you are faithful, I don't think you realize that every time you speak, you throw all of us off.
I can verify what I heard tonight, is that at this round table with all 22 of us, you said, when we killed Ian.
Let's do the vote.
You do?
We're trying to find traitors, not loudmouths, or not guys you don't like, or not guys that
There's also loudmouth traitors, and you might be one of them.
All right, well, let's do the vote then.
There are also loudmouth traitors, and you might be one of them. Marlon, what's your read on this season, on Michael, specifically in The Traitors? And I say this because Rob C. is currently your background behind you.
Yes.
He is...
Rob R, right?
Rob, sorry, my bad. Rob R. And he is
R.
actually one of the traitors of the season. Spoiler alert. So talk to me about Michael and how you're reading this very abrasive presence on the season.
I feel about Michael Rappaport the same way I felt about him off of the show. Just annoying. Just unnecessary. For a comedian, his inability to read the room is concerning, but also telling to his career as a comedian because it's not really going anywhere. He is just so like, I've never seen someone so tunnel vision on one thing in a room where everybody's saying, literally verbally saying, be open-minded. Think of everything. Yeah. Think of everything in totality. He cannot. He's got his perception of Yam Yam, and he just wants him out of there, right? Zero evidence other than, like you said, vibes. Just vibes. And I think it's very telling of what, like, comedians in general, I'm a comedian as well, but comedians in general, where it's like, they're so used to being in a position where they can speak and nobody else is. That when they get into a room where there's pushback, they can't handle it.
Right.
That's why they name people hecklers, because they want to demonize any pushback that can possibly happen, right? And you're seeing it play out with him throughout this entire series. And I hope they kill him soon, just for being I understand he's a necessary cog in the wheel. I get it. Every reality show needs one of these guys. But I've had enough. I'm good.
Rarely do you watch someone who's a faithful and go, I know he's a faithful, he's not a traitor, but I hope the traitors just end him.
Get him out of there.
And by the way, they'll never end him because everyone will just keep suspecting he's a traitor because of exactly everything that you just kind of laid out. Jackson, you were actually interested in actually, finding out about this reality show before we asked you to do this thing. Now that you've actually had a taste of it, and I know this is not your normal bag. Normally you're like, I'm reading about Dadaism. But in this particular case, as you watch this, what's your vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I saw like this like super cut of Alan Carr in the UK version of it, and I just thought it was so cool and interesting. And I got into it, and I could not agree with Roxana more in the take that it showcases how you cannot tell whether or not somebody's telling the truth by just looking at them. Like maybe sure evidence you can tell, but it's painful to watch them have all these arguments. Be like, I saw her she acted weird. Means nothing. You have no idea to tell it. So it's very satisfying to watch because this show is like dramatic irony. The show you mentioned like one of the traitors as a spoiler alert, but like we know, except for in one case in this version of the show, but almost every season, right at the beginning, us, the audience, knows exactly who the traitor is. Yeah. So it's very entertaining to watch them wreak havoc, everyone else be confused, and us, the audience, be like, haha, you dummies, I would know right away. So I like it. I like it a lot. It makes me feel smart.
That's 100% the satisfying part, is watching them be like, you idiots, I know who the traitors are. But it's because they told me who the traitors are in the middle of the first episode. And the thing that does make the season interesting interesting is at the very start, there was a secret traitor that was chosen, and where I am in the show, they've not revealed yet who that secret traitor is, and I am real curious because I just keep watching. Like, who's behaving? Is it Mama Kelsey? Who's the
You're gonna get it wrong.
Okay, we've got one more. No, not a chance. I'm smarter than there. We've got one more topic to get to, and this one revolves around a moment that happened last week on CBC's reality show Dragon's Den. It inspired a lot of conversation online. So it's this exchange between Dragon's Den contestant Pierre St. Rose, who's pitching a brand of gourmet Jamaican patties, and Dragon's Den judge Wes Hall, who is Jamaican.
How much do you sell them for?
Our price point is from $5 for a standard patty up to $10.
No, I don't want to pay more than $2 for a patty.
Well, that's you, though.
Yeah, but no, but
I don't know if you're the clientele.
Even with us, like a lot of people love our patties and we have a mass following. However, a lot of people come to the store, $5 for a patty. They don't want to hear that.
I totally see that. $5 for a cookie, for goodness sake.
People have been stuck at a lower price point in this space.
If you go to the mall now, you would see that a cinnamon bun is $6.99. A pretzel is $5.99. However, a Jamaican patty is still seen as $2.50, and it has meat.
Okay, so that got a lot of conversation online, particularly from the Jamaican Canadian community. A lot of people were not happy with Wes Hall's comments. As the Jamaican ambassador, Marlon Palmer, what was your reaction to this? What was your reaction to this clip? All right.
I did not like Wes's take on it either. I think there is something about especially Black food in general, where people don't feel like Black people are allowed to have the audacity. And the majority of the people who don't think that are Black people, which is concerning. Because realistically, if you go to Jamaica, there are Jamaicans that will price tourists at anything they can if they can get that money. You know what I mean? And he's also acting as if one person changes the price of patties, they're all gonna hear about it. They're all gonna change their prices. It's like they're trying to protect the price point when he's not saying change all patties to $5 a patty. He's saying my patties are $5 a patty. And if people are willing to buy them, who cares, right? Like, who cares? It's all about supply and demand. If people are there to buy them, they're gonna get bought. And it's also concerning. You hear that this man has only made $10,000 for the past year for himself. Why wouldn't you want it to help foster that ambition? You know what I mean? Especially if it's in the right way. It's not something absolutely ridiculous. It's $5.
Yeah, and
I thought it was ridiculous.
Well, and the point that he was making about like Cinnabons also like now costing $1 million in the malls, like we can evolve our idea with how much these things cost. We should say, Jackson, like there was a period in Canada where the Jamaican patty was not legally allowed because people thought that the term patty itself was kind of like only belonging to the hamburger patty. Yep. Jamaican Canadians fought a lot for the right to use that term. Either way, what do you think about this kind of debate?
I mean, I think it's a nuanced issue where classism and racism are kind of fighting one another, where at one hand, you don't love when things get more pricey. That's not a great thing to have, like expropriation from the things that are affordable. Yeah. But also, if you do have a capitalist system, is it fair to make one group of people unable to profit off of it in the same way? Like, is Wall Street great? Maybe not so good. Is it good when we burn down Black Wall Street specifically? Also not good. So I do understand both when you're like, I buy a patty for like $1. I don't want to be $5. But I also understand, like, well, you do it for croissants. Why is that fine and this not fine? So I don't really know the ansher to this question, really.
Famously, people love it when classism and racism mix together.
It's so easy to fix it, too.
Those are the most solvable problems, as far as I can tell. Roxana, listen, you live in the U.S. Jamaican patties near you, $2.50. Talk to me about, like, how do you read this kind of debate?
Jamaican patties near me are like $6 to $7.
Okay, I apologize. I take it back. Yep.
So they are definitely like, I was amazed at the idea that $5 was too much. I would love to be paying $5 for a patty. But yeah, I mean, we see this with all different kinds of foods of different ethnicities, right? Like in the US, it's very much like Indian food, I'm Iranian, Middle Eastern food. Like there's just this perception of like, the halal cart lamb and rice should be $5. And it's like, why? There's just as much effort going into that, just as many like decades of cultural experience and know-how going into that work than like a French pastry. So yeah, it is demoralizing to see this occur in Canada. I'm sorry you guys are going through it, but we also are. I think pretty much any cultural cuisine experiences this.
Marlon, last word to you. I got about 30 seconds here. If someone is listening to this and saying $7 for a patty, I can't emotionally handle the sort of pressure that is putting on me just because a patty should always cost $2. What are you saying to that person?
Go to the no frills.
They got him there.
What we talk about? Just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Why are we trying to swim in oceans? And it's just,
My man said I do not need 30 seconds.
TLC's got it.
5 seconds will
Buy the no frills, man.
This has been a delight. Thank you so much for your time. This has been so wonderful. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Really appreciate it. Marlon Palmer is an actor and comedian and co-host of the Extra Gravy podcast. He also co-hosts Ace and Marlon in the Morning on Toronto's Flow 98.7 FM. Roxana Hadadi is a critic at Vulture. She's in Columbia, Maryland. And Jackson Weaver is a senior writer with CBC Entertainment. He was right here next to me in our studio. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. We'll be back on Monday. I won't be back on Monday because I have to go finish writing my book. So if you see me on the internet, say, Elamin, get off the internet and write your book. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. Have a good day.